Okay. What's the date on it? What date did you get that message?
Today at 1:23 p.m.
Perfect. Thank you.
Are we waiting for anybody else like Alan or Ken?
Probably.
Yeah, maybe they will come.
I mean, I'm assuming
Mel-
Alan's gonna run the meeting.
Hi, Melissa.
Hello, Monica. How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
Good.
There's Jim. We're saved.
Yep, I'm here.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Monica.
I missed the sign up for Schoolcraft, so the days I can come, I can shadow you.
Well, fantastic.
You can go to the first session and take my slot and the last one.
Sad to hear you missed it, but glad to hear that you can come on deck.
Yeah, I will come on deck, but I will not be in for at least 2 Saturdays.
Okay.
I will tell you. I will write when I'm coming,
Yep.
so you know.
Good.
There's Alan.
Sorry, yeah, I'm almost in Lansing, so I have to apologize for the quality and the connection. But I want to say sorry I'm late and thanks for everyone being here. Let's see. I'll go quickly over the agenda. Can you guys hear me okay? Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to go over the agenda just briefly, and then we'll start out with the first topic. So we have Mary B, Dr. Mary B, who's going to go over our Strong and Balanced series and everything we need to know about maybe I would call it cross training, but I have something to learn on what this is all about. Talk to you about the officers for 2024 calendar year. The elections in October, it'll be after the Schoolcraft Swim, October 21st. That'll be the next meeting for our general membership community, and it'll actually be for elections, and that'll be in a classroom in Schoolcraft College. Talk about banquet and the banquet help, and the fall socials. I think that's what we have. So any questions about the agenda?
Nope.
Okay, super. So I know we have Mary on the phone. I want to introduce her just briefly. I know that she's done the Strong and Balanced in the past. She has a lot to educate us on what this is all about. And if we can have her lead the discussion, save your questions for the end. And yeah, let's see what you have to explain. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for even asking me to talk with everybody. First of all, can everybody see my screen? Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Hey, can you also see my cursor? It's around the D.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'll mention I'll just introduce myself a bit more. My name is Mary B, Mary Tracy B, and I have been a member of FAST. I don't know, maybe it's been like this 5 or 6 years at this point. And I became interested in the Strong and Balanced, creating something where we could, during the off months, focus on things to make us better triathletes as we go through. Now, I just want to mention that while it's Dr. Mary B, that doctorate is a PhD. I teach anatomy at a number of the different medical schools, and I teach refresher courses to a number of the different physicians in the area. So I'm not practicing on patients, but I am very well and knowledgeable about the anatomy and neuroanatomy of the human body. I've written 4 books, and it's really my focus for what I do. So That's the point that I'm coming from. So again, what is the Strong and Balanced series? We've done it. This is moving into, I think, our third or fourth year with this. It's just a series of weight training sessions and a series of yoga sessions. And it's free for everybody in FAST. If somebody wants to have an additional person with them, I know Ken was always like, you get one free session. So if you want to bring a friend with you as well to attend, you're more than welcome to. And as this is kind of part of our little flyer for this, it's just staying strong and balanced helps with building endurance for really all three portions. And the reason I feel that I'm so passionate about this is because by doing the weight training and doing the yoga, that is going to make you not only a stronger, more flexible athlete, but it's going to allow you to stay pretty much injury free. I look at the years where I was training and ended up with injuries versus the years where I wasn't doing the additional, when I wasn't doing yoga, I seemed to end up with plantar fasciitis. I ended up with multiple, just issues, and it was harder to recover after my Ironman 70.3 races. So having that ability to be strong from the strength training and the flexibility with the yoga really made a difference for me. So that's why I'm really, really a major advocate for this, because I see the difference that it makes. Okay, so we typically will hold a session every single month. You can come for one session, or you can sign up for every single session that we do for the month. I see a couple of names of people on here who've already attended a number of these sessions before. And really every single level is welcome. This is a picture. We always do these as Zooms. They kind of started a little bit after COVID, so it made sense to do that. Here you can see Ken here. There's PK. Veronica, you're right there in this picture. There's Paul. And this is Amy. So Amy is the other person that does this with me. So Amy focuses on doing the weight training. That's something that she does for part of her life and part of her job. So she does the weight training sessions. And then I focus on the yoga sessions. So sometimes we have a big group. One of the largest groups we had was 22 people. And sometimes it's just a small group. There's Cheryl Squires, there's Veronica again, there's me. And so it really, really varies with what we've done. In the past, we also last year was really fun. We did a Pilates tryout. We got a free Pilates series for 28 days and did a Pilates challenge. So that was something fun that we did, but we're not going to do that this year. But unless there's interest, then of course we would be doing that. So what does this mean? It means that we have these monthly sessions. And so the sessions are as follows. I'll be doing the first session at 7 p.m. on October 19th. So that's yoga with me. And then after that, Amy is going to be doing weights. Now, she just contacted me today. This, if you see any previous information posted, this was on the 17th, but she needs to switch that to the 10th. So I'll work with Sandy to fix it in the calendar, but that's a wonderful, wonderful session. And again, I'll be doing the yoga again on December 11th. So it's just spread out each month. And then we'll get into next year. We'll also have a session in January, February, March, in April probably, and kind of keeping you busy, or maybe just be January so busy for people. So it might just be February, March, April, May, but we'll have about 3 or 4 more sessions at that point. So with that in mind, I'll talk a little bit about the strength training portion of it. Again, this is what Amy teaches. She runs the sessions, and we know very well that when it comes to our triathlon, we're using our muscles. We're using different muscle for different activities. You're using lat dorsi as you're swimming. You're using your pectoralis muscles. Whenever we have our muscles functioning, they're going to do as much as they can. So if we build that strength during the off season, it's going to give you more power when it comes to the time of your races. We know as well too that with strength training and building up that musculature, it just really gives you the power to move forward. Scientific research, I'm a scientist at heart, and so this is from an article by Ronestad, and in this, they talked about how strength training improved 7% improvement. And I think this was a study where they were it was kind of short term. I think they just had people like for six weeks doing a specific weight training exercise. And within that time, with their cycling, they saw a 7% improvement. And with their running time, they saw it like a near 5% improvement. And again, that was just doing this training for a short amount of time. So it improved running economy, and really kind of that strength training, of course, helped with the cycling as well too. And it would make sense that it would for the swim as well. Now, a lot of times we think of the question like, well, how should we be strength training? We know we spend all of our time swimming, biking, and running. And I know when I first started in triathlon, I was just like, I don't have time for absolutely anything else except for swimming and biking and running. You're trying to do each of those 2 days a week, which just doesn't even seem like enough. Where am I going to fit in the training? And so that's why this off season's a really great time to build, because once that training season picks up in the spring, we don't have as much time. So advice that's given to us when we're focusing on endurance is lifting heavy weights and doing low reps as you go through. Lift as fast as you can, being explosive in those movements as you're going through and doing those movements. So again, the goal is building that strength, build up, and we don't want to build up so much the bulk of the muscle. We want to make sure that it's focused on endurance. When we look at the best triathletes that are out there, Lionel Sanders is one of my favorites because he's Canadian as well. And we know great triathletes, they don't have these big hunky, chunky, muscular portions. They'd sink during the swim. So we really want to build up the musculature so that it's built on and focusing on your endurance. I'm going to move to yoga next. There's so many benefits when it comes to yoga. Obviously, when we're doing the stretching and the movements, that's going to increase our blood flow to all the different parts of our body. This is going to help with your cardiovascular health. We know as well too, it is increasing strength. Now there's different types of yoga that you can do. Some of you maybe have heard about a power yoga where you're doing movements that are requiring a lot of strength. You're holding a plank for a certain amount of time. You're doing a one-handed plank or a side plank, and you can really be focusing on building strength. There's other types of yoga. One of my favorites is yin yoga. That's where you take a position, okay, and you hold it for an extended amount of time. And that really kind of stretches out the muscle and stretches out the fascia, the layer that lies around the muscle, to really give you a restorative impact and a kind of more of a longer term impact. So again, we know that some yoga focuses more on strength and some yoga focuses more on releasing the connective tissue in the fascia. Whenever I teach the classes for our Strong and Balanced series, I always do a combination of both. Doesn't it ever blow your mind that some of the best triathletes are not 18 years old and they're not like, they're not in they're the young prime of greatest physical health? And why do you think that is? Anybody have any thoughts on why is it that the best triathletes are typically, 30s, 40s, just in that a bit of an older crowd? Anyone know?
Well, I think that you have to know a lot of things to even be able to focus 11 hours or more.
Absolutely. It's mental. It's mental. There's so much to triathlon. It's like we think we're doing endurance on our body, but we are we're pushing the endurance buttons in our brain to be able to go long term, to know like that we know that we have to last not for 1 mile. We got to last for 26.2 of those miles. We have to last, not just the swim and the bike, but then we have to get through that run as well too. So much of it is mental. When you're doing yoga, you're stretching your body, you're holding a pose. And during that time, we focus on looking inward, thinking about what are you feeling in your body? Where are you feeling that tightness? When we are going through our busy days, we don't think about, oh yeah, I feel that right in that one spot. But when you pause and you hold a pose for a certain amount of time and you maybe feel a bit of pain in a certain area, you do this other side, you don't feel that pain. That allows you to kind of bring an awareness to what parts of your body might need a little bit more attention. And also it impacts, gives you an ability to focus on your imbalances that occur in your body. When it comes to triathlon, we're doing a lot of repeated motions. So if you have a left hip that's really, really tight and you have a right hip that's not as tight, and you are repeatedly doing the same movements over and over, that imbalance becomes very significant, and that's when injury is going to occur. So with yoga, we can bring an awareness that there is this imbalance, and then we kind of work to make it balance, and then that helps us with preventing our injury. Yoga itself will help with sleep. We know that's going to help us when we're exercising so much. It helps with energy flow, it boosts the immune system, and it really helps us out with flexibility. The trees that last the longest in the forest, they're not the big trees that are really strong and firm and wide. It's the ones that also have a bit of flexibility. And so if we want to look at our body, that we're building strength and flexibility, that really needs to be our goal. So I just threw a couple of pictures in here. Are there any questions at this time? Anybody have any questions?
Yes, I do. This is Veronica.
Hi, Veronica.
Hi. Gee whiz, and I just forgot the question. Oh, I know. I volunteered this past Sunday, and I heard this same issue for some of the people that competed at the Ironman 70.3 Michigan. But I had a lot of lower back pain from standing so much in the concrete. Now, with different yoga poses, normally what I do is I stretch until I stretch that area. But with different yoga poses, are there certain poses that I can use to focus on different parts of my body, or are all poses something that would address mainly most parts of your body?
That is a great question. So there will be some poses that will involve multiple parts of your body. So if you take a look at this picture right here, she is doing what's called a cow pose. So she's taking her arms, and so you can see there's a stretch of her arms, but she's also working on her hips here as well. So some poses will cover both areas, like, you can see upper body and lower body, and then other poses may just focus on one specific area. So what we can do is, if you have a specific issue, if it's low back pain, if it's tightness in your shoulder, if it's tightness in your hip, or maybe it's a combo of two of the three of those, there's specific and different poses in yoga that will allow you to focus on different things. Like taking a look at this picture here, here's this plank. This guy, he is building his strength in his forearms, in his core as well too. And so we see that. Now this person's doing a downward dog. She's building strength in her upper limbs, her arms, but notice that she is flexing forward. So this is stretching out the fascia of the back through the legs and up and through the body and into the arms. So depending on the pose, you can focus on a certain area, or you can just do a vast area as well. And I actually have some pictures to show you all. Before I move forward, let me, I hope that answered your question, but I'm going to give you some examples of certain areas and certain poses to do. Again, you can see here, we know that yoga helps to get rid of any imbalances that happen over time. And we're vulnerable to that because we're doing these repetitive motions. We're step after step after step, cycle after cycle with our feet in that position. that arrow position on our bikes for so long. So we know that we just really want to work on the flexibility for all of that. Okay, so this kind of ties in with Veronica's question. What can we do to our body to focus on certain areas? We know very well that when we are swimming, that our head is coming to the side, it's going back. We need to have a lot of flexibility with the neck. So this is one pose. This one's pretty straightforward and simple. It's just seated and it's going through and doing neck rolls. And we know again that helps us. So if you have difficulty with turning your head to the side and getting that breath of fresh air as you're going through, then that ends up obviously being a challenge. You can see that she's also doing a stretch here of her shoulder, pulling it back to kind of open this portion up in here. So that's kind of a simple one for the neck. Another one for swim here is going to be the elbow plank, as I showed in that previous pictures. So working on strength here. So again, we know yoga can focus on flexibility, but it can also focus on building up strength. Obviously, we know that planks are important for building up the core as well too. So strength of the core and strength in through the shoulders as well. The next one, let's now focus on bike. So we know that when we are doing the bike, we know that there ends up being our body is flexed. So we're kind of bent forward here and our feet, our arms are together. But this is something called shoelace. You can see with her legs. So her knees are sort of stacked right on top of each other. So we know that is bringing in a nice stretch into the hips, the hip rotators. And you know that if you get tightness in that area, that's going to decrease your power. We can see the nice stretch she's getting here through the arms and somewhat opening up the chest a little bit in that movement. We know that when we're on those aero bars, we're crunched and tight. It makes your pectoral muscles in the chest tighten, tighten, tighten. So we want to open that up to get into that location. Now, do you see what she's doing here? If I showed you,
No, we
can
are
you-
only able to see you, not a
Whoops.
PowerPoint or pictures.
new share. Okay.
I can see the
I can see the picture.
PowerPoint.
Can
I
you?
can
Yeah.
see the PowerPoint.
Okay, good. Okay, if you can't, maybe refresh, maybe it popped off for whoever, or you can change your screen maybe so it's not just the faces, but it's this. But anyway, you can see along through here. So what she's doing is she's got her arm in the air and she's folding it down. She's taking her other arm, she's folding it, and she's kind of grabbing between her two fingers. So you guys in my audience here, go ahead and do that on yourselves. Go ahead, see if you can do that and see if you can get those fingers along the back to connect with each other. Can anybody allow those to touch? It's tough, right? So I want you to know that you don't have to do yoga where you can do that, where they are actually touching each other. I teach yoga on a weekly basis out in Milford. It's the fun part of what I'm doing. I'm a teacher of this, and look, I'm just barely getting my fingers together, okay? And that's the beauty of yoga, is that when we're together, and a couple of people have taken my yoga classes. I see Curtin there. I know Veronica's been in there. The way we do is, if you can't reach it, don't worry. We use a kitchen towel. And so you don't have to have perfect flexibility for that. But you can see while you were reaching for that, you feel that opening, that stretch through the muscle, your triceps muscle. Here's going to be another pose here. And this is just simply called child's pose, a supported child's pose. And this really helps, Veronica. This is for the lower back. So this allowing that flexion to occur here is something, and this kind of really relieves a lot of the pressure from the back by lying in this child's pose position. That's one. And then let's go to run. When we run, we know we're really using those hamstring muscles a lot through the back, and that can get this portion, our calves and our hamstrings, it can get them really, really tight. So by going into this down dog position, I got to tell you, it feels like amazing. It feels like gold. You can see that that's allowing for that stretch through this area. Maybe a number of you end up with hamstring pains or cramps occurring. Getting a nice stretch in through here helps. Obviously, take some electrolytes as well too, but that's going to be a really nice one for our run. Helps counteract those tight hamstrings and calves. And if they're tight, again, that puts you in such a vulnerable position for injury. This is another amazing one. After you finish that run, or especially after you finish that bike, see, this is a low lunge. It's almost like what we call a warrior pose. So she's bent along through here. So this is bringing some strength into her quad here, but notice that her hip on this side, it's very much extended. So this is really, really, really allowing for a really, really nice stretch in through the quad in through here. And that just, again, that feels really, really great. It's going to help reduce the issues with patellar tendonitis or runner's knee as well. So really, really nice deep stretch along through there. So those are just some examples of some of the yoga poses. Again, our goal here is that we want to increase that flexibility. If we have that flexibility and we are able to reduce our imbalances in what we're doing, that's just going to lead for a less injury to occur to our bodies and allows us to get through. And again, that's why I'm so passionate about this. I'm going to stop sharing. Actually, I do have one more slide to show you. I'm just really passionate about it because I feel that adding in that yoga makes it so there's no way that it really reduces your injury. Adding in the strength training gives you more power to get better times, to have better endurance, to not get as wiped out when season is going full force. Now, these sessions are just once a month. So I wanted to give a shout out. If you're out there saying, wow, I want to have a way better season next year. I want to be stronger. I want to be more flexible. I would encourage you, yes, to attend our Strong and Balanced series, but if you're looking for more, you can sign up for yoga classes. There's yoga studios everywhere. Don't overlook the community centers. Most community centers will do yoga classes for dirt cheap, like $5 a class or something, $1. I think if you're over 60, you can get them like for free through Silver Sneakers, or, doing this is going to be one of the best things that you can do for your future. And then weight training, lots of great resources. Again, there's resources online too, but I don't know if you're familiar, but Triad is one of our sponsors. Kirk is there and he helps guide people. So if you're looking to have someone guide you through this, you don't even know where to start with the different activities, yes, you can attend our sessions and we encourage you to do that. But if you're looking for somebody to work with you on a more regular basis and really focus on your specific needs, I just give a shout out to Kirk for that as well too. And again, he's at Triad. So that is my spiel on the Strong and Balanced series. You are all welcome. I hope to see you there. If you're after this, you're like, I should just ask her about one thing. This is my phone number, so you can feel free to send me a text. I don't really talk on the phone much, but send me a text, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have about that. So,
super. I have one more question, Mary.
Sure.
So, assuming that we can learn from your training class and we can maybe do some of this on our own, filling it in, or take a community ed course or something like that, how often should we do, like if we swim once a week, we run once a week, and we bike once a week, how often should we do, for example, yoga in our regimen?
I would recommend doing it once a week. And if you're a person who's prone to injury or have had a history of it, you might even want to do it twice a week. Now, it doesn't have to be an hour and a half long class of hot yoga. You have to drive an hour to the studio and it takes your whole day. You can just go online. There's a ton of amazing resources. There's a really great Canadian person. Her name's Cassandra. She has a great series of 20-minute yoga classes. So find what you want. There's lots of resources for you. But I would really recommend, I think everybody in their daily life should be doing it at least once a week. If you get a chance to do it twice a week, it'll just be a game changer. You'll really, really feel it. But who's got time for that? Seriously. So try to at least do 20 minutes once a week is my advice if you're looking for like, okay, I'm going to do it to make sure I'm trying to be injury free. But if you could do an hour a week, I think it would be great.
I have a question. This is Veronica again.
Sure.
So after an event, after I do a half or a sprint or something, I'm feeling a little tight. It's okay to do some yoga then to stretch out those muscles
It
for
is.
recovery.
Yeah, but be really cautious with it, Veronica. There are, I wouldn't go to a power yoga class at that point. I would go to one that's more restorative, more yin, and listen to your body. Sometimes when we first start doing our yoga, if we jump into it too fast and we're doing like a pigeon and when our leg is like over our head, like you don't want to do that right after. So if you kind of like do more of a restorative and sort of ease into it, it's that's a great way to go. So that's what I would recommend. But yeah, I always, after a 70.3, I just schedule yoga the next day, and then a day after that I do a massage, Thai massage, and that puts me right into full recovery. I do want to do a shout out, everybody, to Veronica, because it was Veronica who connected us to Pilates for Life, who did our Pilates challenge last year. So Veronica, thank you. You were the main person that got all that going. So yeah. Thanks to that. And I'm seeing a couple of folks writing in the chat here. So Tanya, it looks like you have also done Cassandra's stuff. And yeah, Adrienne is a really great, she does these yoga classes online and her dog's like walking in front, and you just like gotta laugh, and those are some really, really wonderful resources you can do from your own house. But I just think that this is a big game changer, folks. It's the way to really help us to stay like less vulnerable to injuries, and just it's so great for longevity. When we look at our parents getting older, or our friends getting older, or we're getting older, that ability to that strength that you need to push yourself out of the chair, and that ability to kind of adjust with flexibility and balance, we all really need to be doing that. Balance is something else too. We need that in triathlon. And there's a lot of balance activities and exercises, tree pose, for example, that you do in yoga that really help as well. So yeah. So anyway, if anyone said like, Mary's right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go ahead. Really, the ones that Tanya and Kurt mentioned here, Adrienne, wonderful videos, and Cassandra is wonderful as well too. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk about this. Clearly, I'm really jazzed out about this stuff. So any other questions?
We
Nope.
look forward to seeing you.
Sorry I look forward to seeing you in class too. So again,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. The first one's
Excellent.
in October. Yep. See you guys then. Bye-bye.
October 21st. Oh, sorry, October
17th, I think.
19th.
Is it
19th at
19th?
7 p.m. It's a Thursday. Yeah, Thursday evening.
Yep, Thursday. See you guys then. Hope you can make it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Okay, the next topic we have is a discussion around the board in terms of our officers, and the officers that will be, we'll have opening positions for the officer positions, and also the election. So first I want to say that the 3 officer positions we have open are VP of Marketing, VP of Triathlon, and the John Logan. Now we haven't had a John Logan, but part of that is because we haven't had an officer to lead the John Logan. So that's going to take effort and a big time commitment, and that's what we want to do to fill that, so we can offer that in the future. So all the officer positions are available in terms of anyone wanting to put their name in for an election. And if you have any questions about what those positions entail, I'd be happy to answer questions, or any officer can help you and talk about what's involved in those positions. The elections will be October 21st. So this is shortly after that session. Instead of having a general membership meeting on October 21st, on the Saturday after Schoolcraft College, between 9 and 11 a.m., we're going to have elections in a classroom in Schoolcraft College. And that's important for reelecting our current officers, as well as anyone that's interested in running for officer for the future for 24 calendar year. Is that clear? Do I have any questions from the group on what we're looking for?
Give me that date again for the Schoolcraft meeting.
October 21st, 9
Thank you.
a.m.
What time? 9 a.m.
9
Thank
a.m.
you.
Between 9 and 11, yeah, and hopefully we'll have some coffee and bagels or something like that. So you can, if you attend the swim, you can just come right after, or if you're just driving in, come in for the 9 o'clock. Okay, thank you. Next, banquet help. I don't see Sandy on the phone. So I'll try and introduce this. Last year we had a banquet with many people helping out. It was a fantastic event. It was great to see everyone. And actually it was great to get together in a social environment. And Charlie's actually ended up having fantastic food. This year we wanted to do something more like a banquet. We want to hold it in potentially Burton Manor, but we need help to get it all together. So if anyone's interested in supporting the banquet, whether it's what food, how we organize it, and any other events, we'd love to have your help. That's coming up. The very next thing we have for the banquet is looking at the venues, and I think we're going to have something end of September, early October, a visit to the venue. So if you want to have some say in what kind of food we're going to have, got to appreciate your help in volunteering for that. You can talk to me or Andy on signing up to help out on the banquet. Any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Next topic is the fall social. I think Tammy is on the phone.
Yep, I'm here.
Tammy, great.
Yep,
Could you go over? Thank you. Could you go over maybe what's coming up for our fall socials and what they're all about?
Yep. So the first event is going to be Friday at Bar Louie at 6 Mile Lane 275 at Laurel Park Place. Just going to get together and talk about our season, how y'all did racing, and you can hear all about my knee replacement recovery, and just to get together and talk a little bit and socialize. I've missed that throughout the summer. We do the social walks every Saturday at 10:30 at Mayberry. Pets on leashes and friends and family are all allowed for that. It's nothing special. We just go to Mayberry and walk around for a while, just get some fresh air. The walks are every Saturday, except for now the 21st. I'm not going to do a walk if everyone's going to be voting at the election. So, but I'll put them on the calendar shortly. And I think that's it for right now. We will have a December, the final walk of the year will be in honor of Mike Squires again, and we'll have a toast to Mark and some snacks and stuff at that walk.
Very nice. Any questions about upcoming social? The Bar Louie, is that tomorrow evening?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry. My week is really wonky this week, but yes, it'll be tomorrow.
Very good. Thank
I
you so
have a
much.
question.
Very good.
This is
Yep.
Veronica again. Tammy, when is the Mark Squire walk?
It'll be December, I think it was, hold on one second, let me open a calendar. It is December 9th.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Okay. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you so much.
That,
All right. Tanya?
oh, sorry.